Since time immemorial, humanity has sought answers to the great questions of existence. We have longed to understand our purpose and the path to a fulfilling life. At the heart of this quest resonate the stories of those who, at one time, walked alongside the light itself. Today, we'll delve into the lives of a group of extraordinary men. Men who, despite their imperfections, became the fundamental pillars of a faith that has transformed the world. They are Jesus' apostles. We will explore their calling, their daily experiences with the Master, and the immense legacy they left us. This is a journey of faith, history, and deep personal reflection. An invitation to look beyond the obvious and find inspiration in their footsteps. Today, we present: who were they? The apostles of Jesus, companions on the journey, witnesses of the light. The word apostle comes from the Greek apostolos, meaning sent. They were not mere followers, but those commissioned with a specific mission. They were the 12 closest disciples of Jesus, chosen by him to be his companions and, later, his messengers. These men were, for the most part, ordinary people. Fishermen, a tax collector, simple folk from Galilee. They weren't scholars or powerful men, but individuals with their own lives, families, and professions. Their diversity is a testimony that God's call doesn't discriminate by origin or status. What united them was a budding faith, a genuine curiosity, and a willingness to follow Jesus. Their names, engraved in the memory of Christianity, are Peter, Andrew, James, and John, the sons of Zebedee. They are also Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, Matthew, James the Less, Thaddeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas Iscariot. Each of them brought their uniqueness to this group. From Peter's impulsiveness to the meticulousness of Matthew, the tax collector. They were a mosaic of personalities, united by a divine purpose. Jesus' choice of apostles was not a random act. It was a profound discernment, a manifestation of his love and vision. He did not seek the most influential or the wisest according to worldly standards. Jesus chose them for the disposition of their hearts, for their ability to listen and respond. He called them to leave everything, their nets, their tax offices, their familiar lives. It was a radical invitation to a completely new existence. This call was an act of immense trust. Jesus entrusted these imperfect men to carry out the most important mission in history. He offered them an opportunity for transformation, growth, and service. Jesus' "Follow me" resonated in their souls, and they responded with faith and obedience. They left behind the security of the known to embrace the uncertainty of a path guided by faith. Their response teaches us that true vocation often involves detachment. It involves letting go of what binds us so we can grasp something greater. Faith and obedience were the keys to their response. They didn't fully understand what lay ahead, but they trusted the voice calling them. This initial act of faith was the foundation upon which everything else would be built. Her willingness to follow, even without fully understanding, is a model for each of us. It reminds us that God's call isn't always clear from the beginning, but it is always for our good. Once they responded to the call, the apostles' lives became intimately intertwined with Jesus's. They witnessed firsthand his miracles, his teachings, and his unconditional love. They shared his joys, his moments of rest, and even his sufferings. They were present when Jesus healed the sick, when he multiplied the loaves and fishes to feed the multitude. They saw him calm the storm with a word and raise the dead. These experiences not only strengthened their faith, but also revealed to them the true nature of God. They heard firsthand the parables that revealed the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. They learned about love for one's neighbor, forgiveness, humility, and the importance of faith. Every teaching of Jesus was a life lesson, a guide for the soul. Their relationship with Jesus was a school of life and spiritual growth. It wasn't an easy path. There were moments of doubt, misunderstanding, and fear. But through every challenge, Jesus guided them, corrected them, and strengthened them. They participated in intimate moments, such as the Last Supper, where Jesus gave them the sacrament of his body and blood. They witnessed his agony in Gethsemane and his crucifixion at Calvary. These experiences, though painful, prepared them for the mission that awaited them. Life with Jesus was a process of constant discipleship. They learned to love as he loved, to forgive as he forgave, and to serve as he served. They were transformed from ordinary people into instruments of divine grace. This coexistence allowed them to understand the depth of Jesus' message. They not only heard his words, but also saw his life. The consistency between what Jesus said and what he did was the most powerful lesson. They witnessed his compassion for the marginalized, his patience with sinners, and his courage in the face of injustice. Every day with him was an opportunity to grow in wisdom and grace. The experience of the Last Supper was a turning point. There, Jesus revealed to them the meaning of his sacrifice and gave them a new commandment: to love one another. It was a moment of profound intimacy and preparation for what was to come. The Passion and the Crucifixion were devastating trials for them. They saw their masters suffer and die. Their hopes seemed to fade. However, this darkness was the prelude to the greatest light. The resurrection of Jesus changed everything. Despair turned into hope, doubt into certainty. The apostles who had fled and hidden were transformed by their encounter with the risen Christ. After Jesus' ascension and the coming of the Holy Spirit at Pentecost, they became pillars of the nascent church. Filled with a courage and wisdom they hadn't possessed before, they went out to preach the gospel. They traveled the known world, bringing the message of salvation to Jews and Gentiles alike. They founded Christian communities, baptized thousands, and laid the foundations for what we know today as the Universal Church. Their mission was not without its difficulties. They suffered persecution, imprisonment, and, in many cases, martyrdom for their faith. Peter was crucified upside down, Paul was beheaded, and James the Greater was beheaded. Their dedication was total until their last breath. The martyrdom of many of them is a testament to their unwavering faith and the truth of the message they preached. They did not die for an illusion, but for a profound conviction in the resurrection of Jesus. Their legacy endures to this day, inspiring millions of people throughout the centuries. The church they founded remains a beacon of hope and a refuge for souls. Their writings, letters, and testimonies are a fundamental part of the Holy Scriptures. They taught us that faith is not just believing, but living. That love is not just a feeling, but an action. That service is the true measure of greatness. Their courage in the face of adversity and their fidelity to Christ are an eternal example. The spread of Christianity throughout the world is the fruit of their tireless work. From Jerusalem to the ends of the earth, they carried the light of Christ. Their impact on history and culture is incalculable. They left us a model of discipleship, dedication, and love. They showed us that, despite our weaknesses, we can be powerful instruments in God's hands. Their story is a reminder that true faith transforms lives and moves mountains. The story of the apostles is much more than a narrative of the past. It is a living lesson for each of us. It shows us that Jesus' call is not exclusive to a select few, but a universal invitation. It doesn't matter who we are, where we come from, or what our imperfections are. What truly matters is the disposition of our hearts, the willingness to listen, to respond, and to follow. Faith, love, and service are the pillars of a full and meaningful life. The apostles taught us that by committing our lives to Christ, we find our true purpose. That by loving God and our neighbor, we build the kingdom here on earth. We are called, like them, to share the light of Christ with the world, to be witnesses of His love, His truth, and His hope, to live in such a way that our lives reflect His grace. May their example inspire us to be courageous in our faith, generous in our love, and diligent in our service. May we seek to walk closer to Jesus every day as they did. We've taken a fascinating journey through the lives of Jesus' apostles, men who, from being fishermen and tax collectors, became the foundations of a faith that has endured for millennia. Their story is a testimony to God's transforming grace. If this journey has inspired you, we invite you to like this video and share it with those it may inspire. Your support helps us continue spreading messages of faith and hope. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss more spiritual content and reflections that nourish your soul. Click the bell to receive notifications of our upcoming videos. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave us a comment below. What did you think of the story of the apostles? What lesson resonated most deeply with you? Thank you for joining us for this time of reflection. May the peace of Christ be with you always. Transform your life today. Discover a journey of self-improvement, spiritual growth, and motivation.